Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are back. We are back for Married at First Sight. Season 17. This is going to be episode 21, but it's the after party. Hopefully, y'all got a chance to check out my part 1 video, which kind of covered mainly part of the regular episode. Plus, it kind of dibbled and dabbled into this after party. But I knew I wanted to come back and talk about this after party even more. And I didn't want anybody left out because I know some of you don't even get the after party. So I wanted to be able to show a couple of confessions by Cameran because it's juicy, y'all. It's juicy. It's good. You know, Married at First Sight, they foul. They are so foul this whole season. And the juiciest part of the whole season was saved until the after party. And it was tucked not only in the after party, it was tucked at the end of the after party. Married at First Sight wanted to cover all this up, okay? Because if they didn't want to cover it up, they would have aired it on the regular episode, first of all, for all the millions of people to see it. But instead, they stuck it on the after party because they know people not even watching the after party anymore. And then what they did was they stuck it on the tail end of the after party because they know if people do watch the after party, they don't watch the whole thing. You ain't slick, Married at First Sight. You ain't slick. Luckily, I watched the whole thing because, you know, I'm loyal to you guys. I'm so loyal to you guys. I sit out here and take these bullets for you and listen to this crazy season, and they still ain't sending me no check. Where's my check, Married at First Sight, for continuing to watch this doggone show? But in the end, it was worth it, y'all. And I did not want you all to miss any part of this. And I wanted to talk about it. It was so good. I had to come back and do another video on it. A second helping. You ever had some food that was so good? You're like, oh, let me go up there and get me another plate. Let me go up there and get me another plate. Well, here we are getting another plate of this Married at First Sight. And I'm going to be taking it slow. So don't be getting mad at me because I'm stopping the video. That's the way it's got to go. That's the way it's got to go. You got to compromise with me. But let's go ahead and get started, taking it bit by bit, because I want to talk about it as we go along. Like I said, we're only going to be showing maybe about 5 or 6 minutes, but we're going to break up that 5 or 6 minutes. So we're going to be here a minute. So grab something to eat, grab something to drink, and let's go ahead and hear all the tea that Cameran was spilling. All right, let's do it.
To that, just prior to the pizza party, Claire asked to meet up with me, and I met up with her. And it's not by mistake that there were these factions. Claire asked me to be on the girls' side.
Okay, there's the first confessional. It's almost like we got Cameran on the witness stand. We got the witness on the witness stand, and we're going to stop it right there because we need to digest that. What Cameran just said was that prior to that pizza party, the pizza party is that last scene where they were outside at that barbecue, right? Where the whole showdown happened. Now, if y'all been watching my videos, one of the things I told you was that this was the first time in a long time. I mean, I can't remember the last time everybody was present at one time. Now, we all know there's been a whole lot of lying going on this season. Everybody been lying. We now know not only have the wives been lying, the men were lying, producers were lying, everybody guilty. Put everybody in jail and throw the key away. So now we not even really can't get to a point where we can say who was lying, who's not lying, because really everybody was lying. At this point, it's just a matter of who's been telling the biggest lies, okay? So what Cameran is laying out for us at this moment in time is saying that prior to that pizza party, old girl Claire called him up. And old Claire called him up and said, hey, Cameran, I'm going to need you to be on the girl's side. Well, that's manipulation number one. It ain't number one, really. It's a number 1,000. But in this little thing we doing right now, it's going to be number one, manipulation. Because when Claire says, I need you to be on the girl's side, what Claire is really saying is, I need you to be on my side. Because the jig is about to be up. Claire has been lying to not only these women. That's really the biggest lie, y'all. I really felt Claire was lying to us about her attraction to Cameran. I felt she was lying to Cameran about her attraction to Cameran. We knew those lies were present. But as we started going along, I started saying, you know what? Claire not just lying to Cameran and lying to us and lying to producers. Claire's lying to these women. Claire's playing both ends. She's playing both ends. And so now we have Claire getting a little bit nervous because for once, the men and the women are all going to be in the same room at the same time. So what does Claire do? What does the master manipulator do? She places a phone call so she can try to handle Cameran. Cameran mentioned in the regular episode last week that Claire, whenever she sees Cameran starts to talk, she tries to control Cameran and handle him like she's his handler. And so what Cameran is admitting to is that prior to this pizza party, she called him and said, I need you to be on the girl's side. But what she's really saying is, I need you to be on my side. I need you to back up these lies I'm going to have to tell. Because I'm going to have to tell some lies, Cameran, because these women think that I've been on their side and I haven't been. So I'm going to have to tell some lies, Cameran, and I'm going to need you to back me up. There you go. She's a master manipulator. Okay, let's keep going.
For this discussion, she asked me very specifically to back her up on the Brennan double date situation. This time, this moment, this was when Claire and I's friendship, colleague, workmate relationship, whatever, completely disintegrated.
Okay, so he called her a workmate, a colleague. They were in cahoots with each other. And what he's saying is, now it's going too far, Claire. I was willing to back you up on all this lying we were doing to the producers and all this lying we were doing to the audience of Married at First Sight. But now what you want me to do is you want me to back you up on this lie you've told Emily about Brennan. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to back you up. I'm drawing the line because now what you're doing is you're not just trying to pretend like we're together. You're actually now trying to break up another couple. And we've been saying this. Claire is negative. Claire has wanted to break up everybody on this show from the very beginning. Even Claire was breaking up her own marriage from the beginning. We've already seen the things she was doing to Emily. We've already seen the things she would say to Chloe. And when she didn't like Chloe and Michael came on with her little nasty looks when she saw that they were getting along. We saw that she wasn't happy about it. We saw that how she would talk to Becca and egg Becca on and not really be supportive. Somebody needs, I don't even think Claire has her license yet because she's just now getting her master's degree in therapist, but she don't need to become no licensed therapist because what Claire does is Claire is using her skill to get people to open up, and she's opening up people only to manipulate them. You hear the scary music they're playing in the background for these clips. It's like a thriller. It's like somebody gonna come out the closet with a knife and go, I'ma stab you. Claire is horrible. Claire is horrible. Okay, let's keep going.
Because I said, basically, I'm willing to lie for us. I'm not willing to lie to break someone else's marriage up. End of story. And put my foot down, and this was the result.
So there you go. He said, I'm willing to lie for us. I'm willing to continue on this facade with us, but I'm not willing to break up a marriage. Well, now what he's admitted is that he has been lying. He's fully admitted he's been lying all season. And I knew he was lying all season because that's why there were times when I would get on Cameran because I knew Cameran was lying. There were times when I would get on Claire because I knew Claire was lying. I knew that both of them didn't have clean hands. Now you can like one better than the other. That's fine. But there is no way now anybody cannot call Cameran a liar and Claire a liar. They both were liars. From very early on, they both were lying to us. Now, whether or not you don't like Claire's worse than you like Cameron's, that's fine, because I'm in that boat. I'm in the boat where the person I don't like the most is Claire, because I think Claire's lying has gone to a whole nother level of deception. It has reached beyond just the viewers or whatever. I think what Claire has done to her so-called friends, the women, is horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. And the other reason why I'm more upset with Claire is because I think Claire had the agenda from the very beginning. Claire was lying from the very, very beginning. I knew the men were lying from the very beginning. I saw it very early on. I said, all these men don't like their wives. I saw it from the very beginning. I saw that Orion was the only one who told the truth, who came out and said, I really do know I want to be with this woman. He was the only one. Everyone else was lying. I knew that. But I did not know in the very beginning that Claire was lying, plus she was gaslighting and manipulating the women as well to try to pretend like she was one of them. But yet the reality of it is she was just like the men. Because what she made the women believe was that I'm a victim along with you. That's what she made the women believe. That just like you, I've been silenced. Just like you, I'm being tortured in this marriage. Just like you, I'm being treated wrong. So she got access to these women's tears. She got access to these women's hearts. She got access to these women's sorrows, all the things that were going on, which we're going to talk about that more later. And then what she did was she used it for her own gain. She used it for her own gain. I'm telling you, a master manipulator. People need to be afraid of Claire. Be very, very afraid. Okay, let's go on.
I want to know what you're lying about.
From essentially day one of our marriage, the agreement was that we would be on the same page for why the marriage wouldn't work out.
Okay, there's the agreement. There is the agreement to lie. That we would stay on the same page of why the marriage didn't work out. That was the agreement. Let's come up with a plan of why the marriage isn't going to work out, but let's stay on here and let's still collect this check. Like what we kept saying, why hasn't Claire left? Once Cameran went and had his heart surgery, and once the marriage broke up, we were all still kind of wondering, why does Claire still want to film? Why is she here? You know why? Because she had more manipulation to do. You see, Claire was never here for Cameran, just Cameran. She had two jobs. One of her jobs was to manipulate Cameran and make him look bad. Her second job was to manipulate the ladies. So even though Cameran was off having his heart surgery and he was off camera, Claire didn't want to go nowhere. We kept saying, why is Claire here? What is she doing? And now we know what she was doing. She was continuing on with her manipulation plans of the women, infiltrating them even more. Even more. It really is such a very diabolical plan. She needs a therapist. She needs help. All them therapists she brought on this show to so-called diagnose Cameran, she needs them for her, which kind of makes you think, why did Claire even bring those therapists on the show to talk to Cameran? Because I think even Cameran, remember when those therapists first came on the show and Cameran was really uneasy with them because he was saying, I don't want to be psychoanalyzed by all these therapists. I think that was the way that Claire was getting more of her intel on how she would manipulate Cameran. You see, I think Claire knew she wanted to manipulate Cameran from the very beginning. And she also decided, let me call in some reinforcements. Those therapists were used. They didn't know what was going on. I don't think they knew at all what Claire was doing. But Claire even used those therapists, right? She called even extra reinforcement and says, hey, talk to him. Tell me what you think about him. Analyze him for me. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take your information and I'm going to take the information I got and I'm going to use it even for my greater good to actually manipulate him even more. This is twisted. Very, very twisted. Okay, let's keep going.
In the beginning, she's telling me a lot of things that they were guaranteed to end the marriage. Her exact words were, you can kiss me, but I'm not going to like it. So anyway, I took that to mean that she wasn't attracted to me.
Okay, so what he's saying is she really never wanted me to be attracted to her. And it's almost like what people are talking about with Chloe, how Chloe's over here saying things so that Michael will say no to her. Chloe's over here talking about she wants 5 foster kids, not 5 teenage foster kids, and she wants 1,000 goats and animals that can't walk, can't see, can't do nothing. They are handicapped, and she wants a whole sanctuary full of them. She doesn't just want an animal sanctuary. She wants an animal sanctuary of disabled animals, and she just doesn't want to do 1 foster child. She wants 5, and then she wants to get the foster child at sometimes maybe the most difficult age of that foster child, which is when they're a teenager. She wants to stack the deck so that eventually Michael will say no. And I agree with all y'all. Y'all was in my comments talking about it, and I agree 100% with you. And that's what Claire was doing. This is what Cameran is saying Claire did. What Claire did was, let me make it clear to this man that I don't want to be with him. I'm not here to be with him, okay? And let me tell him things that will make him not want to be with me. And this kind of coincides with what I think we saw, that from the very, very beginning, maybe day one, we thought that Cameran liked Claire. But then all of a sudden, we did see a shift. We saw a shift, but we kept hearing different sides of the story. But this coincides with Cameran is saying now that very early on, when he was showing an interest in her, what she decided to do was send a clear message. Let me let you know this ain't going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. You could try to kiss me. You could try to do these things, but I'm not going to like it. So let's keep going.
You know the truth. You know what has happened. You know the ways that you were texting her. You know the conversations that were happening.
I do.
And you have to live with that, and you have to sleep with that every single night.
I do.
Cameran said, I do. Cameran said, I do. Cameran said to Becca, you ain't bringing nothing. Becca decides to chime in because at this point in time, Becca's not aware of how she was manipulated by Claire. She's still in the dark. But Cameran is saying, yeah, I know what I got to live with, but wait till I tell you what you got to live with. Okay. And then we see who's going to be in the most pain. Cameran is saying, I'm unfazed by what you're saying, Becca. Becca over here with these silent laced threats as if you know what you did. You know what you did. Well, spill it, Becca. Spill it. Spill what he did. Everybody been talking about all the secrets and how you've been silenced for the whole entire season. You all have been silenced. You haven't been able to speak your truth. Well, speak the truth, Becca. Why are you trying not to speak the truth? Or why would you be trying to protect Cameran? Why are you protecting him? If you feel he's lying, then tell us the truth. You know why? Because even though Becca doesn't know for sure Claire was lying, she suspects it. She suspects it because I think they start to add some things up. If you notice coming up next week, we're going to see next week, they've been showing these previews of the women meeting up again. Guess who's not there? Claire. We're going to see some meetings next week. I'll see. There's some meetings between Emily and Becca and even Chloe and even Lauren is in them. But you know who I don't see yet? I don't see Claire. Maybe we will see her. But even this past week, we heard Emily and Becca. Emily say Becca has been the best support for her. There seems to be a closeness between Becca and Emily. But Claire, I think they figured it out. But Becca still don't know because Becca, once again, is naive. She's the one that's still over here trying to love on Austin, and Austin didn't love her. She is naive. She's in the dark. She's still in the dark. And she's over here trying to get up under Cameran's skin. And Cameran is cool as a cucumber. Cameran is cool as Spider-Man. Like I said, he got them spiders down there in the basement apartment. And Becca over here thinks she gonna scare Cameran. Cameron's like, I live in a basement apartment with spiders. There ain't nothing too much you can do to scare me. There ain't too much you can do to scare me. And Cameran is standing 10 toes down. He says, yeah, I'm aware of everything. I'm aware of everything. All right, let's keep going.
And I could read text messages right now between you and Claire where you are telling her to act cold on camera. You're telling her to act a certain way, to talk about certain conflicts, to do certain things. And you say that it's because you are trying to protect her and whatever secrets she has and whatever self-promotion she has going on.
Okay, so there is Becca. Becca's saying, I've seen all the text messages, Cameran. I've seen all of them. All the little lies you were telling, your little scheme, your little plan, your little act you were putting on. I saw all how you want to control what Claire said, what Claire did. I read it all. Claire has shown it to me. Every single thing you're talking about. I know you're lying because Claire has showed me everything. I've seen the script. I know what you wanted her to do. But now you're sitting over here lying to all of us, Cameran. Let's see what Cameran has to say.
She went along with your plan, and what you are doing now is taking her narrative and her story and making it your own.
Okay, so before we hear Cameran's response, we hear Becca say, dang, Cameran, the story you're telling of manipulation, you've stolen Claire's story. This is the story Claire has told me. Claire has told me how you manipulated her. Claire has told me how you told her what words to say. And now you're sitting here in front of me, Cameran, and you're actually stealing Claire's story. You're trying to act like you're the victim, but it's Claire who's the victim. She's told me that she's the victim. She's shown me text messages to prove to me that she's the victim. Well, Becca, we know you don't know how to look at clues because you got a man you've been living with that doesn't want to sleep with you, and you still somehow tend to believe he's still attracted to you. But yet you've also said you walked around naked in front of this man, and not once has he gotten an erection over it. So, Becca, we know that when some things are right in front of you, you don't always see it. So now let's get ready to hear what Mr. Cameran says.
Nice. So let's talk text messages, shall we? Unfortunately for Becca, I have all the text messages not out of context. So
that was funny. He said, so nice. Miss Becca, go sit down, Miss Becca. Basically, go sit down. Keisha Knight Pulliam was like, Even Keisha Knight's Pulliam husband is like, baby, Keisha, what you got me on here with? That man, Keisha's husband, Brad, is that his name? Brad is sitting on that chair like, what the heck is going on here? What the heck is this? What is going on? What is going on here? But I tell you, Cameran is playing it so cool. He's like, nice to hear you done fallen for this whole plan that your girl done thought up. And he ain't phased one bit. He didn't even shake in his boots. He said, nice. He said, but unfortunately for you, Becca, your accusation's about to fall flat because I've got the entire text message. Not this cut up stuff that Claire has given you. Not where you only cut and paste a few text messages and you send them to the women so you can draft the narrative that you want it to be. No, I've got the entire thread. I've got the whole mastermind manipulator Claire's whole conversation. At this point in time, Becca's face is on the floor. At this point in time, her face is all the way on the floor because now the wheels are probably starting to click in and she's like, oh snap, I didn't think of that. I never thought of the fact that Claire might be manipulating me. But right now, about now, Becca's face is on the floor and she's like, dang, you mean to tell me I got by Claire? Not only did I get duped and tricked and gaslit by Austin this whole season, now you about to tell me that my girl Claire has been doing the same thing to me all season long too? This is funny. Let's keep going.
This actually all starts with Claire asking me to come up with the plan so the marriage is not going to work. Cameran, you need to take the lead. You're smarter than me. You can work out the story to tell the producers.
Another manipulation tactic. Let me gas him up and tell him how wonderful he is and how smart he is. And then what I'll get him to do is to not only take the lead, but take the blame. Because remember, don't you all remember the time when Claire kind of flipped? We knew in the beginning we didn't think Claire was attracted to Cameran. She didn't want him. Then all of a sudden she started talking about how in love she was in with Claire, how wonderful he is, how he's the best thing since sliced bread. Remember when that flipped in the thing? We're like, wait a minute. You didn't even like him on the honeymoon. You was talking about his clothes, everything, nothing you liked about him. Now all of a sudden he's so smart. He's so wonderful. He's so handsome. He's all these things that you ever wanted. I believe it was right around this time because what she was doing was, I'm going to gas Cameran up, tell him how smart and wonderful he is so he could come up with this story and he'll be the one taking the fall. Claire is, she don't need no license. She does not need, please don't, the board of medicine, whoever issues these licenses, don't issue her no license. Please don't. Let's keep going.
All text messages I've got. Also, other text messages I've got. Her admitting that the double date thing is all a lie. And that she was going to take down Brennan no matter what. And when I begged her not to do this to Emily, I said, do you really want the whole thing of Emily cheating, like just being litigated over and over again? Because I think that's where Brennan's going to go. Turns out Brennan didn't go there.
Oh my God, 2 bombshells dropped. 2 bombshells dropped in that. First of all, what he said was the fact that the going out was a remark that Brennan said was a lie. You know I was the one that said it. I said it. Brennan didn't say it. I said it. So the text messages are going to prove that I was the one. I told you I was the one that said it. And then it's going to prove that you're a liar, that you didn't know for sure that I was the one that said it. And then it's going to prove that what you did was you want Brennan to pay, period. So what you wanted to do was, once again, you wanted to manipulate the story to make Brennan look bad, because what you really want to do is you want to break up Brennan and Emily. That's what you want to do. You don't want them to be together. And so you've got to change the story so that Emily is even more hurt over there crying her eyes out after she just come from the hospital with stitches in her head. You want her to cry even more, to hurt even more, because you want revenge on Brennan. Probably because a lot of the men didn't like Claire. Probably because a lot of the men didn't like any of these women. And so what she decided she was going to do was she was going to be the one to exact revenge on Brennan. Remember we kept talking about, why is everybody wearing pink on the after party? Why is everybody wearing pink on the after party? Whose idea do you think that is now? If you look back now on the idea of wearing pink on the after party, I bet it was Claire's idea. Once again, another one of Claire's scheme to pretend like there's actually solidarity to the women, when really what it's a part of is about keeping everybody in line. It's about keeping the women in line so she can control and manipulate them. And it was also just like Cameran said before, she likes to text me all the time and tell me what I should be saying to keep her lies straight. But then on the very, very end part, Cameran slips out and says, I really don't want to go down that road and break up Emily, and I really don't want to make Brennan mad. So he told us another thing. Another thing that he knows is that Brennan can get angry. We all know that about Brennan. We all knew it. In a lot of ways, Cameran is confirming it. That I really don't want to rock the boat. I really don't want to poke the bear. I don't really want to make the angry bear any more angry, because if we make him any more angry, he may drop the bombshell on Emily that she's a cheater. I was saying early in this year, the way that Emily hushes up when Brennan says to her, do you really want to talk about things, Emily? Do you really want to do this here on camera? The way that Emily hushes up, I said he's got to have something on her, because what I knew about Emily was that Emily had a mouth on her. Emily knows how to speak up. She knows how to talk bad about her daddy. She did it earlier. She knows how to chime back and argue. And what she wanted us to believe, that her silence was being controlled because Brennan is abusive. Brennan is mean. Brennan is controlling. But in the end, her silence was being controlled because of her own secret. Her silence was being controlled not necessarily because of who Brennan is, but because of who she is. She's a cheater. You see, what Brennan was saying is, if you really want to start throwing stones at a glass house, be very careful, because I can take your whole house down. And remember, they had that argument before when Brennan kept saying, I have a lot on Emily. I could take her down if I want to. But he said, I'm not going to do it. And Emily should have been quiet. She should have been quiet. So let's go ahead and sniff out some more of what's going on. Keep singing, Cameran. Keep singing. Keep spilling the tea, because the tea is good.
But
Emily cheating, go back.
Yeah.
Emily cheated during the marriage?
Yeah, on Brennan.
So...
Okay. So anyway.
Becca, what is Cameran talking about? Is that not true? I'm asking. I don't know. I'm asking.
When Keisha Knight Plum goes over to Becca, See, Becca had a lot of words just 30 seconds ago, a lot of words. She had a lot of words for Cameran saying, be careful. You know the truth. You know the truth. Now we turn to you, Becca, because since you want to be the truth teller, you want to be the person that tells everyone to tell the truth. Because I know she's keeping other people's secrets. She's keeping Austin's secrets. I know she is. She's keeping Austin's secrets. Let's hear the truth. But now she's tied tongue. Her tongue is tied. She can't find the words. Okay. Who's the liar now, Becca? And did you hear Cameran said, well, she knows the truth because she was there. It ain't even going to be third-hand information. It ain't even going to be third-party information. Cameran is saying she knows the truth because she was there. Now listen to this. How would Cameran know it? How would Cameran know Emily's secret? Think about it. More than likely, this secret of Emily cheating and Becca being there had to have happened at a time when there were no men around. When there were no men around. So how does Cameran know? You know how Cameran knows? Claire. Claire was there. And Claire told Cameran. So we got two problems. Not only do we have the cheating Emily, we have Becca who covered it up and lied and kept her secret this whole time. We have Claire who was there. More than likely, Lauren might have been there as well. Okay. We don't know for sure because I don't know what time this happened. I don't know if it was before Lauren and Orion broke up, but it's a good chance that Lauren was there as well. And then we have Claire who went back and told Cameran. You can't even call this pillow talk with your husband because there was no pillow talk with her and Cameran because guess what? They weren't laying on no pillow together. This is just Claire talking bad about Emily behind her back, right? And spilling the beans to Cameran and then probably telling Cameran, you can't tell anyone. You can't tell anyone. And now Cameran can't speak up because guess what? She's already got him lying for her. Let me tell you, once you do one bad job with another thief, now that thief got you because anytime you want to stop thieving with that thief can say, well, if you start talking, I'm going to tell them about what you already stole. So at this point in time, Claire has manipulated everybody. She's even manipulated Cameran now. And now she's going to Cameran telling him about what Emily did, and he doesn't tell anyone about it. But let's hear what old Becca has to say about Emily cheating. Let's hear the story.
At this point, Brennan has stonewalled Emily multiple times. She has tried to get through to him. Nothing is happening. She saw on his iPad that there were girls messaging him on Instagram and all of this stuff. She gets angry. She goes out one night and there's an Australian guy flirting with her, and she did make out with this Australian guy.
Now, she tells the story that at this point in time, Brennan has stonewalled her. Okay. So are you saying now that Becca, because she was being stonewalled by Brennan, that made it okay for her to go out and make out in a bar with an Australian man? Is that what you're telling us? And if that is the case, if she said, well, my marriage is over, so I might as well make out with this Australian man, then why is she still fighting for the marriage? You can't do both. You can in one way say, I'm chucking the marriage because Brennan, you have stonewalled me and you're not interested in me. But then on the other hand, fight for the marriage and make Brennan look like the bad guy because he doesn't want to be in the marriage. You're either chucking the marriage or you're fighting for it. And if you're fighting for it, then why are you out making out with an Australian man in a bar? Because it's what Emily does. I said before that Emily has a lot of red flags. And people wanted to say that this thing of hers where she only goes out with a guy once or twice and she doesn't understand why men don't call her again because it's this. You think that Australian man is calling her again? He made out with a woman who was married. You think he's calling her again? No. We saw how much of a slob Emily was. We saw that dirty apartment. We saw that dirty closet. We saw those dirty dishes in the sink. We saw that dirty floor that Brennan had to mop because obviously nobody had cleaned that floor probably since they moved in. Okay. We saw the sloppiness of Emily. We saw the fact that when she broke her wrist earlier on, she was drunk. She slipped in the shower. The wet shower fell, broke her wrist. We heard the stories from Brennan on the previous episodes where she was drunk and she pulled the shower curtain down. So we got a sloppy person, messy, sloppy, junk everywhere. We got a person who drinks a lot. We got a person who's promiscuous that likes to make out with random men when she's married and not married. We got a person who's got a nasty attitude. Okay. We've got a liar because she basically lied to us the whole season. And she wanders around and she talks about, I don't have no red flags. And then when Brennan told her during the episode that he thought that she had a bad attitude, this was the girl that broke down in tears, ran to a bathroom, sat on a nasty, dirty, nasty public restroom floor and cried as if she were the victim of Brennan. Unbelievable. Let's keep going.
But you are still married, though.
Yeah, it's nothing to be excused in this situation. In what Cameron's story is, I think it's a little irrelevant, but I'm happy to go
to become public. I did not want it to become public at all.
It's irrelevant. It's not irrelevant, Becca. It's very material. It's actually quite the opposite because it answers the question that everyone has wanted to know the entire season, which was, why was Brennan so turned off from Emily in the first place? Because what we knew it wasn't was her looks. We knew that it was not because Brennan did not think Emily was good looking in her physical appearance. We knew it was a lot of other behavior. So to sit here, Becca, and tell us that Emily making out with an Australian man early in the relationship, okay, is irrelevant, tells us how naive, how much you are, how much you're willing to lie to us as well. It's not irrelevant. It's very, very material. And in fact, Married at First Sight should not have stuck this in the back of an after party in the last 5 minutes of the after party, hoping no one would ever see it. It should have been aired on the television show, the main season, and not on no after party in the first place. And it shouldn't have been stuck at the end of an after party, because you know who else was lied to? All these experts as well. All these people were lying in the experts' face, but I don't care about them doggone experts because they should have never put these people together in the first place either. But the lies have been spread around. There's a lot of people on this show that look bad. Look bad. Married at First Sight's reputation this season has been trampled on and thrown in the trash. They're not even credible no more at this point in time. They're not even credible.
I wanted that to not even be a thing because I really felt that Emily was going to get the brunt of everything that came with that.
He said, I was trying to protect Emily. You remember they kept saying, all the men were talking about, we're trying to protect you. We're trying to protect you. And the women say, you're not trying to protect us. You're trying to silence us. Didn't nobody silence you, Emily, from telling your truth that you made out with an Australian man? Did Brennan tell you not to say it? Did Brennan tell you not to confess? And Cameran is saying, I really didn't want to bring it out because if I brought it out, I knew what else that would bring out. That would bring out the Hulk and Brennan. It would bring out the Hulk and Brennan. And what he's saying is, I didn't want it to become the truth. I didn't want it to get out and be made public because what that would do is that would unleash the Hulk and Brennan even more. And I didn't really want him to get the brunt of that because he knows that's a fiery storm too. You know what? Two things can be right at the same time. Two things can be right. Even with all the stuff Emily has done, I still stick by that Brennan has a temper. He has one. You could tell. And I understand what Cameran was saying when he says, not only did I not want to get Emily out here crucified in the streets and on public, I really didn't want her to also have to start dealing with the wrath of Brennan even more because that was going to get ugly. Real ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And I begged Claire, please don't make this a thing. Please don't rile up. Please don't stir the pot between Brandon and Emily, because I think at the end of the day, this is only going to go bad for Emily. And Claire said in response, got the text messages. Claire said in response, cheaters are going to get what they deserve. Does that sound like a friend to you?
Cameran, I'll answer that question. No, it doesn't sound like a friend to me. Because in the end, what Claire was doing was she used Emily, her pain, Emily's pain, everything to also do what she wanted to do. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Cheaters are going to get what cheaters deserve. Cheaters are going to get what cheaters deserve. Do y'all remember in the very beginning of the season when they were talking about what have been your dating woes? Remember what Claire said? And Claire said she's never had a boyfriend that would like to take her out in public. Remember that? Remember Claire was the one that said, none of my boyfriends would be proud of me and take me out in public. Because you know what Claire has been all this time? Probably a side chick. So like she said, maybe she's dealt with a lot of cheating men. And now what she's decided to do is I'm going to get back at all these cheating men. And what she felt was that Brendan was a cheater because women were dropping down in his DMs, text messaging him, liking his pictures on Instagram, messaging him in Instagram, whatever else you want to say. And what she decided to do was, for all the women that have been cheated on, including myself, cheaters are going to get what cheaters deserve. That's you, Brendan. And I'm so intent on making Brendan pay, I could care less what happens to Emily. Emily's not even Claire's concern. What Claire is fixated on is punishing Brennan for all the men that have punished her and cheated on her. So to hell with Emily, to hell what Emily does right, what she does wrong, her feelings or whatever. This has now become about what Claire wants to do. So she has manipulated the audience. She has manipulated Cameran. She's manipulated the producers. She's manipulated the experts. She's manipulated all the girls just in order to do what Claire wants to do. Isn't Claire a triplet? A triplet. I sure hope the other two sisters are nowhere near what Claire is, because it's really frightening to believe that there could be three of them running around. Three of them. Can you imagine a three-headed monster? I sure hope that just because they shared DNA, that they have not also shared upon what's going on with Claire. I sure hope that they may be twins, but they're twinning, or not twins, they're quadruplets. I sure hope that they didn't all get this same gene that Claire got, because what we don't need out here running around in the streets is a three-headed monster. We really don't need that. But that's it, y'all. That's all I'm going to talk about here on this after party. I gave you the juiciest parts of the after party. This was the juiciest. Let me tell you, it was the juiciest. I'm glad you stuck around. But let me know what y'all think. Drop down in the comments and we will talk later. We'll see you next week. Okay, bye.